Hey guys, today we're going to give you a quick demo of Socks the game. This deck here is her Royal Mankiness, named as such due to the amount of action she has seen, so please forgive the wear and tear that you will see in this demonstration. In the box, you will find an instruction booklet with details of the gameplay and the setup. For those who don't like to read manuals, we have prepared cheat cards for you so that you can start playing upon unboxing. You will find the 10 instructions as well as the winning conditions listed on this card. You will also find a deck of socks in the box, which will represent the sock drawer. The socks are double-sided, so you will always know which sock is coming next. To nest a sock, simply flip them over to display the nest side. During gameplay, as you discard these socks, they will form the laundry pile. Last but not least, you will find action cards which have on them instructions for what they do. You shall place them face down so that other players will not see which action cards are coming up next. So now we will move on to set up for a quick play to demonstrate how the game works, and we will see you in a bit.
Hey guys, we're back here with the board arrayed for play. As you can see, I have 5 cards in my hand and I've actually arrayed them face up so you can see what's going on. The players all start with 5 action cards, and as they expend an action, they will replace an action from the action deck so that they always have 5 cards at play. So now we shall commence the round. Let's see what we have here. Okay, I have a card here that allows me to draw 2 socks. I will play this card and draw 2 socks from the sock drawer. As I have now done my action, I will nest a sock. And now I shall replace an action from the action deck and await the next player's turn. The player has elected to deal 1 sock to any goblin. Presumably, this will be to the player. And now, my opponent has elected to nest that sock. Very well then. So, next, given that I have the ability to deal 2 socks to any goblin, and this particular sock is not going to be a match for my opponents, I will simply deal 2 socks to myself. Unfortunately, it seems that I've resulted in a pair. Unpleasant. I am now obliged to discard this. These socks are now forming the laundry pile here, and I shall replace my action card, but given that I have played an action, I will also nest my sock. And now we await the next turn. My opponent has chosen to draw 3 socks. Someone got lucky. Given that I now have an opportunity to make my opponent have a little bit of a hard time, I will now force my opponent to discard 1 sock from their room. And with that, as I do not currently have any socks in my room, I will now have to end my turn. My opponent has moved a sock from the top of this card pile into their room. Foiled. I shall take a risk. I will draw 3 socks for myself. It seems my gamble has paid off. I will now nest 1 of my socks and end my turn. The opponent has elected to steal 2 socks from another room. It seems that there's a limit to the options here. Someone has way too many socks and is now on the verge of winning. I am obliged to make things a little unpleasant for my opponent. It seems over here that I have a sock from the drawer that's going to match my opponent's sock. I am not going to give up on that opportunity. I will deal 4 socks to any goblin, and that goblin being my opponent. This has resulted in a pair, a second pair, a third pair, and a 4th pair. A very, very effective action. Now, with my opponent greatly weakened, I shall restore my actions and end my turn. My opponent is now dealing 3 socks to every goblin, starting with my opponent. And now 3 socks are forthcoming to me. Fingers crossed. Another pair. Nevertheless, it seems that I am having a good hand right now. Now, over here, I actually have an opportunity to swap the contents of 2 rooms. But I would elect not to do so, because in doing so, I would wind up with a pair over here, which makes my next move quite interesting. I think I shall make a gamble. I will deal 4 socks to each goblin, starting with myself. Alas. That was probably not the wisest course of action. Regardless, I can still nest a sock and restore my hand. I will also deal out 4 socks to my opponent, which of course has resulted in a few pairs. This is an interesting situation. My opponent has 3 socks of a kind and can now choose which socks to discard. Foiled. I do remain in the lead, however, so this is a good thing. Discard a sock from my room, you vile beast. Very well. Now that I see I have the ability to deal a sock to each goblin, starting with myself, and I know that this is not going to form a pair, I shall elect to do so right there. And then I shall do the same for my opponent. And now I nest a sock and I'm on the verge of winning. Let's see how my opponent will seek to stop me. Blast! With this particular card, I'm now obliged to skip my turn. Of course, my opponent has already taken an action, so there's another sock being nested. My opponent actually has 4 socks nested right now, and I need to skip this turn, which is probably not the best state of affairs. 2 socks will be dealt to me. Dodgy. No! Not only do I not have socks in my room, it seems that my opponent has won, so congratulations. And that concludes the brief demo we have for the game. Ordinarily we would not play it with just 2 players, but we hope that you guys have a better idea of how the game is played now. So see you soon, and do join us on the Kickstarter.